Good evening, ballers. Welcome to the 76th episode of the Stepback, Sean Bradley edition.
Whoa.
Yeah, yeah, it's you looking for a dunk facial? That's your man. But
Hey, yo.
yeah, it's your host Leon Tompkins, my main man Jacob Moses, back to you tonight, Monday, December 20th, a few days right before Christmas. Uh, got a lot of health and safety protocols going on in the league. We got Kyrie action. A lot of guys coming back in the league you might have, heard of before, and a lot of rookies making a name for themselves. And Steph Curry cementing his legacy as the greatest shooter
Mhm.
of all time. But
Sure.
how you feeling, brother?
I am feeling great. It's good to be back on Mondays. Giving it to you raw like Monday night, WWE. But we're better. Uh, but yeah, everything's going well. Feeling good, healthy. Christmas almost here. Got all the shopping done. And how you doing down there in NYC? Place to be.
It's cold. What they call brick out here.
There you go.
But every CDMD, every uh, mobile truck you see, they got the COVID testing around the block. So it's about that
Mm-hmm.
time. The spike, the surge has been in effect. It's gone in effect across sports. NBA, you got every star taken out due to
Mm-hmm.
health and safety protocols. You got the NFL postponing games, NBA now postponing games, MLB in the lockout. So we're about to hit that stage where we got nothing on TV again.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, the list of names on this health and safety protocol list is pretty outstanding. Uh, 70 players entering protocol this month, 50 of them this week. Uh,
It's
Names
crazy, man.
like Giannis, Durant, Harden, Trey Young entering, Pascal Siakam, Zach LaVine entered for a time, DeRozan, like the entire Bull squad, Anthony Edwards, Westbrook was in there for a time. I mean, these guys are having trouble fielding, putting 8 players on the court. And granted, we're seeing a lot of G League players and guys coming in the league and making a name for themselves. But
Mm-hmm.
the NBA makes their money on Christmas, and Trey Young and playing supposed to be playing the Knicks, MSG, that playoff rematch. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of Knicks in protocol themselves. Uh, Nets, you know, if their big stars are out, even with Kyrie now making a return, you know, Lakers, AD out, it's going to be a lot of trouble. I don't know what the NBA is going to do as far as these protocols are concerned.
Yeah, man, it's definitely crazy. It's we about to have the replacements in the NBA style, man, because they got to start calling up everybody. I mean, the Knicks. It's crazy because Grimes had a good game. Well, at first it started with RJ. RJ wasn't doing too well, but he said he was sick, whatever. Kind of knew what it was. Boom, health and safety protocols. Quentin Grimes comes in, gunslinging 27 points. Boom, he's next. Quickly. Oh, no, excuse me. Before him, Obi had a good game. Health and safety protocols. Then Grimes. Then quickly. I'm like, damn, who's next? Well, luckily, Derrick Rose, it was just an ankle with him, but good. Well, I mean, who's next? What's the deal?
Yeah, it seems that it doesn't matter if you're vaccinated or not. 97% of the league is vaccinated, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, due to everyone, the staff, the fans, the coaches,
Mm-hmm.
you have to take all of that into account in getting these guys off the floor. But I think now at this point, if they either had to have a 10 to 14-day pause, which I
Mm-hmm.
think they should have done last week with the Bulls
Yep.
outbreak,
Mm-hmm.
to get everybody uh, reset the count and get everybody situated and come up with a
Mm-hmm.
plan. Because if the NBA wants to make their money on Christmas, I'm pretty sure they don't want replacement players and G League guys, playing these games on national TV. You
Wayne Selden, freaking, I can see it now. The Bruce Browns of the world coming back. I mean, this is I won't say it's unprecedented because you saw it before, but yeah, we're gonna see some do it. But on the flip side, it's kind of I'll say it's kind of exciting because then you never know because you might see that next star come up and go, hey, I never knew about this guy, which was already being done, but now it's going to be heightened because they got to have 10 players
Mm-hmm.
at least. So yeah, call these kids up and see what we can do. So we got Deuce having big games beforehand because they needed somebody, and look, he came and made an impact. So, the Nets got a few guys. You'll see guys like Cameron Thomas. They'll be able to shine. He's actually playing well. He's taking it to the rim. Now he's learning that he doesn't have to just chuck up shots to get his points. Um, you go to Houston, you're seeing guys, Jalen Green goes down. You got guys like Eric Gordon coming back around, doing his thing, showing he can still be a productive player in the league. You got a few other young guys like Josh Christopher. And I just want to you see guys like that. You want to see these young players come out and do what they do and create some excitement for their fan bases.
Yeah, watching the Nets last week when they had the 7 players out, like Aldridge and
Mm-hmm.
whatnot, and then you see the other guys, like imagine like watching David Duke Jr. on Christmas, and Kessler Edwards. Now these guys brought a lot of energy. They won
Mm-hmm.
the other night against Toronto, a hard
Mm-hmm.
fought game. They lost against Orlando because they just
Yep.
didn't have enough players. But it goes to show that it's tough to make it in this league. But once you're
Mm-hmm.
in there, these guys, you know, 1 to 15 on that bench, it's professional caliber.
Mm-hmm.
And, a lot of guys bring up Brian Scalabrine, White Mamba. He didn't get a lot of minutes, but
No.
everybody remembers that playoff game, and he had skill. That's what
No,
you're
absolutely.
witnessing
Mm-hmm.
with every guy on these rosters. So you look at Austin Reeves for the Lakers, hit a uh, game-winning shot the other night.
Mm-hmm.
Jimur Kiki for Orlando, Garrison
Mm-hmm.
Matthews in Houston, Jonathan Kaminga,
Yep.
Golden State. So a lot of guys coming in, making an impact. You're getting that 13, 14, 15 guy on the roster,
Mm-hmm.
and that's all you can ask for. It's an opportunity, and they're making the most of it.
Isaiah Thomas, name you might have heard before. He came along, had a nice game, 19 points in his first game. I mean, that guy was ready to go. He was another one. It seemed like he would just never get a shot for some reason. Dude, he was a really good player. I mean, he was like pretty much star in the league and just nothing. But this is his time now. He's like, hey, let's see what we can do. But the Lakers trying to sign everybody with street clothes there. Now he's not. He's going to be out for 4 weeks, but they signed some Jamario Jones from Wisconsin G League team. Let's see what he has. They needed a big body. You never know. Never know. But it's going to get ugly before it gets better. I can say that right now.
Yeah, you call him street clothes. I call him Mister Operation because anytime you touch him, just buzz, buzz, buzz. It's brutal. But the last injury. So the first one, he
Mhm.
he rolled his ankle, and it looked ugly. Came back out, 5 10 minutes later. LeBron pushes I think it was Beverly, or I forgot who. I
Yes,
know he pushed a
Beverly.
Wolves player
Mm-hmm.
right into AD's knee. I mean, it's just unfortunate, but it's been a down season for Davis. It's been a down season for the Lakers,
Mm-hmm.
and talks of trading Westbrook has been you know increasing. It's been a lot of internal strife as far as getting him in the first place, as opposed to Buddy Hield.
Mm-hmm.
Do you really see the Lakers making a move and trading Westbrook?
No. Ken, at this point, what are you going to get from him? I mean, you're in a win now mode, so he's one of your win now players. So I really can't see that happening. I mean, what are you going to now? His value has to be low because he hasn't been playing that well. I mean, he's been really inconsistent. And with LeBron aging, and he's kind of, you can really see his game starting to slow down. He doesn't want to do that much on the court. Westbrook, he tries to do what he can, take over the game, but it's not working. That for some reason this big three has not working. Yeah, they had it good for about a week or so, but then now AD goes down. Who are you going to depend on? You're not going to get 20-something points from Ryan Reeves every game. He's not going to be, hitting game winners every 2 games. It's just not going to happen. So where is that going to come from? But Westbrook, I can't see him getting traded.
Yeah, I don't know where exactly he would go to make
Mm-hmm.
a difference as far as his fit on another team. They've been talking about like Westbrook to the Pelicans and like Lakers getting Lillard. I'm like, no, just stop
Nah.
that. That's not going to happen. It's just out of these world uh, trade rumors that the Lakers are destined for half the league. You hear Mr.
Mm-hmm.
Sabonis, you hear in Turner, which you know what they might have to make a move for Turner or Sabonis now that AD is out for 4 to 6 weeks. But
Yeah.
it would mean giving up Horton Tucker, who they've been very reluctant to do.
Mm-hmm.
But if they're in this win now mode, and LeBron only has so many years left in this isn't his prime, but he's
Mm-hmm.
playing pretty well for the most part. They may be forced to make a move and give up some of their young talent.
Mm-hmm. Or lack thereof.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Watching Kyle Kuzma just hit game winners all over the league and just sticking it to the Lakers anytime he can get is
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty hilarious.
Awesome. It's awesome to see. You know what kind of skill that kid had.
Hmm.
Somebody didn't like him, so off he went. But he's in a better place now. But also, I just wanted to bring this up. A lot of teams, even before like the outbreak started happening, these teams haven't been playing up to their potential. A lot of them, or a lot of them have come back down to earth. Like the Wizards, man, they set the league on fire. And then I look, they're like a game or two over 500. The hell happened?
Yeah, reality set in.
Mm-hmm.
Reality
And the
set in.
Hawks too. And that's why I look at the Knicks and I'm like, wait a minute, this not just them. What's the deal?
Yeah, and a lot with the COVID the outbreak among these teams, it
Mm-hmm.
also forced what we talked about last week with guys who were out of rotation, Kemba, Blake
Mm-hmm.
Griffin. Now these guys are forced back in a rotation due to a numbers game, and Kemba had a, a great game, 29 points, first game back in about 2 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
It lost to Boston, but Kemba was showing, yeah, his defense may be not up to par, but he can still score the ball, which he wasn't really doing before.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Yeah.
oh yeah, yeah, and Blake Griffin coming in pros pro, 17 points, knocked down a few threes, hit a huge three against Toronto,
Mm-hmm.
um, and still drawing charges. So these veteran guys who are out of rotation now coming back in, showing their uh, grit and grind. But you know, uh, what do you say to these guys coming back in their rotation, making an impact?
It's great to see. Kemba, I get why, and I'll say this: I get why he did it because yeah, it's nice. It's nice to see him play defense or try to play defense, but he really wasn't making an effort. And if you play for Tibbs, you got to show an effort on defense. Also, offensively, he wasn't playing the best, but I can see reduced minutes, benching him like he did. Yeah, I mean, I would have brought the minutes down, but he can do it in like 15, 20 minutes. Keep his knees fresh. He can still break down the defense with the best of them. But you got to keep him around, especially being a leader. He has to be a leader on the floor because it seems like Fournier plays better when Kimbo is actually on the floor as well. Um, but now you're in a predicament where you have to play him, and like I said, he really played pissed off. And it seemed like every shot he made, like he looked towards Tibbs, like yeah, I can still do this. And on the other side of town with Blake Griffin, it's nice to see that. It's nice to see him actually expanding his game. He's been doing it for about 2 or 3 years now, but just to see him just step back and hitting threes and faking them out and hitting threes, it's really cool to see because he's evolved his game. We all knew him as this high flyer guy, and you knew his knees wasn't going to last forever. The hops wasn't always going to be there. And it's not there anymore. I don't care how much he can throw his hand out and show his left hand. I still got it. No, you don't. But he's actually his mid range is pretty solid, and his 3-point game, hey, get me take 35, 36% from him, and you're good to go, man.
Yeah, he was really struggling with his 3-point shot in the beginning of the year, which led to him being out of rotation. But
Mm-hmm.
after coming back in, knocking down a few, it seems like he's catching his rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, they're gonna need him down the stretch. I didn't think they would play him heavy minutes to
Mm-hmm.
begin with, but now with all that's going on, it, I'm glad he's back in the rotation. High basketball IQ,
Mm-hmm.
uh, chemistry well known within the locker room. So it's just a presence that you know if he's it's kind of like you feel good, you play good, and hopefully it's the start of something for Blake who can still make a contribution.
Absolutely.
You were mentioning Kemba and Tibbs, and there's been some reports like I guess ever since the benching that they haven't really spoke.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I wonder how much of that is true.
Uh, wouldn't surprise me, to be honest, because it just seemed like I said, it seemed like it wasn't bickering. It was just more Kimbo just looking towards Tibbs every time he made a big shot. He had something to say. Obviously, to it, he was playing his old teammates, but it really looked like he was looking at Tibbs like, yeah, I still do this, and this is what I do. Still got it, and making comments like that while he was on the floor. So some truth might be in there somewhere, and it really wouldn't surprise me. But it's hard to see them not talking. Obviously, with practices and stuff like that, I can see him talking, but not that much. But hey, like I said, Kimba's a vet. You're gonna need that on this team. You're gonna need every ounce of production from everybody that steps out on that floor every night, and it's gonna be a tough one. It's definitely gonna be tough, especially the way Randall's been playing. So.
Yeah, and when we spoke last week about a couple weeks ago about Randall and his inconsistency and his struggles, and Tibbs also made a point of him saying that Randall should be aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
He's holding the ball too long, being very indecisive,
Mm-hmm.
and it seems to be downhill ever since that playoff series against Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we had said, to possibly trade Randall for Simmons. It, the rumblings were kind of low. I think they probably pick up a little bit more steam
Mm-hmm.
if there's something that was offered to you, Randall, Kemba, I guess, and for Simmons, or somewhere along that framework.
Mm-hmm.
Is this something that you would do?
Yeah, I really would. With Simmons, you put him on the right team, like he's not gonna clock, and that's the good thing about Simmons is a great passer. He's not gonna clog up the middle. He's gonna be passive, which is good for the most part. But I'm just trying to see where he would be in the lineup. Would he be where he played a point forward? Like, but I think obviously he'll play a better point forward than Randall. I mean, like Randall, spoke highly of him, but if he's gonna play like this, I really get somebody in there that can make a difference on the defensive side that can turn these things into offense. And he's a smart. Ben Simmons is a smart player on the floor too. Plus, I think he's younger. Pretty sure he is, about like a year or so.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely not gonna say no. I'm a Randall guy, but I'm not gonna say, oh no, I'm not gonna do that. But let's see what Randall is come trade deadline time. If he doesn't get it together, you definitely got to think. But they invested a lot in him, so see if he gets more aggressive. Well, when he plays more aggressive, when I mean that, taking open shots, not this dribble, 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 dribble into a double team and then lose the ball. And he passes up so many open shots. I'm like, dude, if you're gonna be a guy, you gotta take it and you gotta make it, or at least take them. Don't be second fiddle to Fournier, man. It's just not. It shouldn't be that way. But yeah, I call Ben Simmons dusty ass bitch and all that absolutely because that's what he's acting like. But what also scares me though is him in New York. He thought Philly was bad. New York is worse. you he'll really have his feelings hurt. But like I said, I'm willing to stick with Randall for a little bit and see if he can get it back together. Can't get any worse. That's how I look at it.
That that is true. That's definitely true. Uh, it's not too late for the Knicks. They're when the 12th, no, 11th, 12th spot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then that little cluster there, all those teams around 500 with Atlanta and Indiana and all those teams. So um, there's still some time to figure things out. Maybe after this little COVID outbreak across
Mm-hmm.
the league, he can get set his rotations again and maybe
Yeah,
give guys like McBride and Grimes some more minutes. Really spell a lot of these vets.
you have to. You have to give McBride the way he played with his energy and his defensive prowess on the floor. You gotta give him more time. Grimes is the same way. 3-and-D guys. That's what we need. 3-and-D, 3-and-D, 3-and-D. That's the way of the NBA now. Get with it now. And by the way, now we talk about trades. If they offer me, Miles, what do you want for Miles Turner? I'm giving up or Sabonis, either one of them. I'm taking them. Out. Mitchell, see you up. See you. Because he's another one. I feel like he's gonna be Mr. Glass. Because as soon as he hits the floor, I'm just like, oh God, is he gonna get up? Dude runs like his damn feet hurt. Yeah. Oh man, it's just irritating. Yes, he can provide, you know, just a stalwart in the Rudy Gobert type stuff when he's healthy. But he scares the hell out of me that he's not going to last that long. That's why I want somebody like a Miles Turner that can do the same thing, but he has an offensive game. I want an offensive game from players 1 to 5 on that floor
Hmm.
because that's the way of the NBA right now. I mean, I'm not saying shoot like 10, 15 threes a game, but if you can knock it down, it'd be nice. He has no other game besides, dunking. That gets kind of old. Yeah, it was nice. You set the single season record for field goals, but, dude, I want a jump hook or something. I mean, mid range, give us
Like a,
something.
like a poor man's Dwight Howard. I'm like a really poor man's Dwight Howard. And
Yeah, yeah.
his game is dependent on the point guard anyway. So
Oh, yeah. Always, always, always been. We don't have that.
yeah,
It's
you'll
pretty
be
much.
lost.
Mm-hmm. But I still say we missed him in the Atlanta series, though.
Yeah. And speaking of point guards, one entered the Garden and set a record. Uh, Now officially the greatest shooter of all time, Steph Curry, coming in and on the third shot
Mm-hmm.
of the game, broke the record, and they stopped the game for 10, 15 minutes and
Yep.
allowed him to soak it all in, and got Ray Allen with the juice look. Reggie Miller did all those guys really congratulating him, and you know it's nice to see. I know it came at the expense of the Garden, but you know he was shooting like terribly
Oh, yeah, he
ever
was.
since he announced like 16 threes. It took him like 5 games to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but just goes to show you another record, another magical performance in the Garden. That's not a Nick.
That's for damn sure. You're kind of tired of that. Actually, you come back, with Jordan's 5'5", Kobe's, 60, 61 point. Hey, it was beat by Melo, so, I don't feel too bad about that.
Hmm.
But I will saying about this, we have plenty of, the Willis Reed, many Patrick Ewing moments that you're a Knick fan. He had plenty of moments here. I think it's more of it just it happens to be at that time. It
Yeah.
just and plus it's New York. The Garden, one of the most no, the most famous. That's why they call it the world's most famous arena. Of course, players gonna come here. They're gonna play big. They want to do that. I still think he did it on purpose so he can break it in the Garden. I don't care what anybody says. I watched that whole game in Indiana. I'm just hell no. As soon as they got about 2 minutes left in the game, I'm like, all right, he's gonna do it at the Garden. But I get why people say it is. It does get irritating, but you're just like, all right, you got to be better at the Garden. You got to defend the house a little bit more. Um, and I don't agree with Stephen A. on a lot of things, but yeah, the Knicks are kind of when they have that kind of stuff. It's like when you come in the house, you wipe your feet off before you come in the house and do your business. Yeah, they kind of gotta stop that. But you aren't gonna stop Stephen Curry. He only needed two to do it. He was gonna do it regardless. It's a cool moment though. See Ray Allen, Reggie Miller, also making us feel a little bit older. Those are guys that come and gone. And like I said, I thought Ray Allen, obviously, I thought he's the greatest shooter I've seen.
Hmm.
And for Curry to do that and that in less games,
Like
just
like half.
yeah, it's crazy. Changed the game. He's You know, actually, it's good for him to do it because he's a pro, but it's a bad thing for a lot of kids because you see that a little bit too much. Because I mean, I was watching like a pickup game just on Instagram. I swear I did not see one mid range shot at all. And I'm just like, what is going on? But that's what happens. We had MJ. Everybody wanted to do the MJ moves. Now you got Curry. Everybody wants to shoot some 30, 35 feet. And hey, it works for him though. I give him that. But props to him. He is definitely the greatest shooter ever. I don't care what anybody says. There's nothing you could say or even no. There's no excuses. There's nothing. That is the greatest shooter ever. And good luck trying to catch him.
Yeah. Uh, so I was watching the game the other night. I think they were
Mm,
playing the Celtics. It
mm,
was like close to halftime. So they get the ball at half court, inbound the ball. Curry gets it. It's just a half court heave. But I mean, they were doubling him from half court, and he drew a
mm.
foul.
That's how effective
No,
it is, man.
no other player in the league would
Mm,
demand a double, triple team at half court on an inbound pass. But that goes to show you how much this man has changed the game. I mean,
mm-hmm,
shooting from the stands, shooting from the parking lot. This man is the literal definition of in the gym range.
mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I've never seen anything like it. I don't think we'll
Uh,
see anything like it again.
Mm-mm,
And it's that when you say you know can't run away from the DNA, that man is the definition. And you know, speaking of the DNA, Del Curry was definitely you know, he was shooting some shots in the
oh
stands.
yeah.
So yeah,
Oh, damn
good for
sure
him.
was.
Um, you know, I know the parents were in like separate sections. You do the
Yeah.
divorce and all. You
Yeah, I
know,
didn't know until you told me that, and I'm like, oh man, you're right.
yeah, it was weird.
Mm-hmm,
But um, to go up, watch your son, break an NBA record such
mm-hmm,
held as this one over time. I know the
mm-hmm,
evolution of the game. It's just remarkable to see, and
mm-hmm,
where he ends up on the all-time list in points or even three-pointers made,
mm-hmm,
absolute first class, first ballot Hall of Famer.
mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just stand up guy, one of the nicest players you can probably watch and probably meet. And he's awesome, man. It still hurts to this day. As a Knicks fan, you know, didn't want to go to Golden State, wanted to come to New York. That's what things that usually happen. But as I said before, I don't think this would happen if he was in a Knicks uniform. It's just certain things that would not happen in a certain uniform. It wouldn't happen if he wouldn't have gone. If he would have stayed in New York, I don't think this ankle injury probably would have been flaring up every other time, and we wouldn't even seen half of this. We've seen glimpses of it. Oh, what could have been, but I'm happy for that guy, man. It's awesome. And Del Curry, all of his parents, man, they got to be really proud because all the work he's put in. And imagine going to the gym, dude shooting 500,000 shots just to perfect that
Hmm.
his shot, and man, it's amazing, man. That's all I love about the game, like basketball. There's so much history in it. We're seeing history made. Like you always say, give flowers while he's here. Just enjoy it, just like with LeBron, man. Stop all the Kobe, hey, he's better, MJ's better. Listen, just the dude is an amazing player. Everybody gave Jordan his flowers when he was here. I mean, everybody. Why not LeBron? Yeah, Jordan bitched. He whined, just like every other star. Every other star bitches and whines if they don't get calls. It just happens. That's how it goes. LeBron's great. He's going to go down to one of the top 5 players ever. We'll leave it at that. You can mix it around. You got Kareem, MJ, Larry, LeBron, Matt, whatever you want to do. He's going to be top 5. Doesn't matter. But give people their flowers while they're here. But Stephen Curry's definitely getting them, man, because greatest shooter ever.
Yeah, it's congrats to him. Harden's at 2,500 and some change.
Yeah, I didn't know
So
that either.
so he's pretty soon to pass Reggie.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe within the next, maybe this year actually, he could pass him.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll track that and see what goes along. But the evolution of the game, I don't think anyone's ever going to catch Curry his
Mm-hmm.
number, but
Mm-hmm.
we're going to see a lot more in the 25 to 3,000 range. So um, it's just generational talent.
Mm-hmm. That's a real generational talent right there.
Um, so it's somewhat of an early Christmas present. Kyrie returning for road games uh, for the Brooklyn Nets.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we understood their stance at the beginning of the season about continuity and not being a distraction. So we decided to, just banish him altogether. But so many factors now with, the COVID outbreak among the team and Durant logging 43 minutes a game, Harden playing heavy minutes. If this was not sustainable, they needed some reinforcements. And I'm glad this is happening for obvious reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And for those, I know there's a lot who says, well, the Nets caved. Well, at this point, they kind of had to.
Mm-hmm.
There was no choice. You if you're looking for the long term help of Durant, he's the only one who signed an extension. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Harden can sign one in the off season. You can't have these guys log heavy minutes, 45 minutes, in order to get to a championship goal.
Mm-hmm.
Also, with the number of players, vaccinated and still entering health and safety protocols, they're not playing anyway. So it kind of left them, well, if they're vaccinated and they can't play, you can't justify an unvaccinated player who has the ability to play on the road, know that this is a city mandate.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think you can justify him being off the team. He can practice at home, play on the road, kind of help out when he can. And I think this is absolutely necessary. Um, and I don't think they caved. We'll see how uh, chemistry comes in because there's been no continuity anyway with these guys coming in and
Mm-mm.
out. So,
No, this is the worst I've seen the team in a while, but they're still winning, so it kind of it kind
yeah,
of helps. But KD, like the dude's playing MVP. Besides, DeMar DeRozan, this dude is just playing out of his mind. He's been the starter, the freaking middleman, the middle relief, the setup, the closer, whatever you want to call it. That's been KD, man, and I don't know how long that's gonna hold up. It's just not. You gotta have other guys in here. And Kyrie, he's another guy that can break the defense down, make his own shot. He's a play creator, but he's also a ball stopper. But hey, when you can get to the bucket like he can and actually score, you're gonna need that. You gotta rather. I know you rather have him for 30, 40 games rather than freaking none.
yeah,
I'm taking that any day of the week because talent like Kyrie, you need him on the floor anytime you can get him.
yeah. This would be the only team who wouldn't have a home court advantage with home court advantage.
Good point. Very good point.
And
Man.
and you mentioned KD playing at MVP level, and it got me thinking:
Mm-hmm.
uh, is this is Brooklyn KD the best version that we've seen? Golden State KD was pretty damn incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, OKC KD won an MVP.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Although I don't, I mean, this might be biased, but I think this is the best Durant I've seen.
Yeah, I definitely will agree with that because he just, obviously he took over with Golden State, but you had Curry he went off and pretty much overshadowed a little bit, but KD was still KD. But now everything is on KD because he doesn't have James Harden at James Harden status, like producing like we've seen him do.
Mhm.
Kyrie's not even there. What does he have? The dude has to be everything on the floor. Dude is even killing it defensively. And yeah, this is definitely the best KD I've seen. I mean, it's he's submitting himself as the best player in the world. And I really, me, I was a LeBron owner, but just to see what that dude can do at any time, and how efficient he is on the floor with ease, man, it's ridiculous. But yeah, he might be on his way to another MVP, man.
Yeah, yeah. Like the efficiency, the ease in which he does it. And you mentioned how guys don't take mid-range shots. You look
Mm-hmm.
at all most of the MVP candidates: Durant, Paul,
Mm-hmm.
uh, DeRozan. These guys are slowly but surely just bringing the mid-range game right back into it. Even LaMarcus Aldridge, who's been killing it for the most part all year,
Mm-hmm.
leads the NBA in mid-range percentage. So
I love it.
Brandon Ingram, mid-range assassin. So it, the NBA always works in waves. You get your low post
Mm-hmm.
game, and you went back to the mid-range and going out to three-point land, and now we're starting to see the mid-range game come back into effect, despite what analytics say about it being a bad shot. These guys are 30 a night. It's a it's an effective shot.
Mm-hmm.
Off that pick and roll, off the stagger screen. Rip Hamilton
Mm-hmm.
made a
Oh yeah.
career off of it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it's a brand of basketball. I think that now mixing all together is uh,
Mm-hmm.
much more enjoyable to see rather than like you say, the 35, 40 footers that you know guys that should not be taken, unless you're calling Anthony Towns.
My man. But yeah, mid-range game is dead, right? Ask the ball to Rosen, by the way. He does it better than anybody else, especially in the fourth quarter. Um, Also, what's the hold on? Let's stop the show a little bit. I see a little banner there. I see
Oh
up
yeah,
above
yeah,
you.
yeah. It uh, a fantasy league from last season. Ball busters,
Hey
Lamelo
yo.
Ball, and yeah, that's Lamelo Ball, Andre Drummond, Kyrie Irving, and the boys brought home this banner for me, and it's just gonna now I have the hardware to show that I know what I'm talking about. It's just no fluke. And speaking of fantasy, I know you were on yesterday with Felipe, Total Bases
Yes.
Podcast, Fantasy
Thank you, Felipe.
Baseball, uh, just to
Had a good
show
time.
that we are multi-talented.
Goddamn right. We'll never know. We'll catch us everywhere. But thank you to Felipe, for having me on. I had a blast doing it. It was cool to talk some baseball with him. Nuck, if you buck, Showalter, got him on there. Yeah, it's gonna be. Hopefully, we get some baseball. With Dong City. Hopefully, they get back in the groove with it. Hopefully, it gets some more news for us on the lockout. We don't know what the hell's going on. So
Yeah,
Henry Maldonado and Vince Mercandetti giving us the business, giving us that smoke for baseball. But that's you guys do a great job. But
yeah, man.
damn, we need some. We definitely need baseball though. We got to be able to pass it off.
Yeah, yeah. It's the way those talks are going. They're there for 5 minutes and be up out of there.
Up and leaving. Now you good.
Yeah, this is going to be a long winter for those guys, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure once it comes down to it, they'll come to their senses and realize, we got to start on time.
Mm-hmm.
We need baseball and celebrate the
Thanks.
Atlanta Braves winning the.
Huh?
Yeah, I know
Excuse
it
me.
hurts to say.
You gotta celebrate shit. All
Yeah,
right.
but back in the fold with the COVID outbreaks, do you see any change that could be made as far as the protocols for vaccinated players, or did you know I know they mentioned the roster expansion because they got guys coming in like Lansing Galloway and Mario Chalmers
this
now coming back in the fold, Marquise Chris.
is crazy.
Yeah, so now they allowing roster expansion, but do you think they'll play the crowdless arenas or just go back into the bubble?
Yeah, they have to. Honestly, I can care less about the crowds now. They gotta go back to that. I'm sorry. It Once it gets to a point It's like a temperature gauge. It's green, you got the yellow. It's in the red now. I think you, or I'm gonna go a little bit down. You're going into the yellow. You're in the yellow now. You're going towards the red before the damn pipe burst, and they gotta stop that. I'm sorry. It was great seeing the fans having the live crowds, but it's a wrap now. Until they get it back under control, they gotta go back into the bubble. They really do. I know they would hate it, but it's time.
Yeah, I think the timing of it is awful, but
Mm,
I
I
wonder
agree.
if they can work in stages. Like
Mm,
I don't, I'm not sure if like the next step would be the bubble,
mm,
because you figure these guys go home and who knows what's going to happen. So you know, I know the controlled environment of the bubble really um, curtails a lot of the spread.
mm,
So I get why that could possibly be the next step, but I don't think it's logical as far as having every team go in and then you gotta adjust your schedule for 30 teams and try to spread out over 3 to 4 days. So the way the schedule is
mm.
now, I don't think it can happen. I think they can
Or
go to crowdless arenas
I was just
for
I was just about to
for a
say
bit.
that. Or bringing the capacity down. I mean,
Yeah, Eh, yeah. Oh, and there was talk of allowing asymptomatic players to play,
mm, mm,
and I still think that's tricky,
yeah.
considering all the staff. But
Hmm.
if I think if you allow asymptomatic players to play, you can't have a crowd.
No. Mm,
You know, otherwise, they might have to return to the bubble for a month or so until you know booster shots or more data is available uh, across sports because NFL's postponing games. We've had 5 games postponed in the league in the past 3 days,
mm-hmm.
and with Christmas on the horizon and New Year's, so people are going to travel. It's going to get worse before it gets better.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. I think if they change the protocol to allow asymptomatic players to play, you can't have a crowd.
Mm-mm.
And if the spread is still not contained, you can go for a 10 to 14-day pause and then have everyone go into the bubble.
Mm-hmm.
Because let's face it, you don't want these playoffs decided by G League players and
Oh gosh.
playing and all that. It's bad. It's a bad look for the sport. Um, I know the NFL is tweaking their protocols, and Matt Bushnell, Randy Hammond, they're gonna go much further into it Wednesday night on the Audible over in Football Life. You know, uh, I'm excited. I
I
know that the
switched it up.
Lions got to win. Yeah, they're gonna. I
Oh
think they're
yeah.
gonna go Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
To pre to recap Week 15,
Mm-hmm.
and Thursday afternoon to preview Week 16. So they're going back to back duty. Those guys
Back to
hard at
back.
work.
The Lions though. Talk your shit for a few seconds, Leon.
It, it, you know, it, while we're into that for a bit, I know it's a bit off topic, but that was the first time in about 3 years I saw a competent NFL team. Start to finish, they looked like they knew what they were doing. Goff and the defense, the receivers, Goff made some good throws. Defense really helped Murray.
Mm-hmm.
I know Hopkins was out, but they put pressure on Murray and made him real uncomfortable. The game plan was excellent. The kicker was on point.
Mm-hmm.
You know, two out of last, they picked up 2 out of 3 wins. I'm not even going to count Denver because they traveled cross country. Half the team was missing. It was hard to make a game plan for them. But
Mm-hmm.
I want to see how that Lions team finishes, how Campbell finishes, how now Goff is in COVID protocol, and we'll see what that goes through. But um, yesterday was real exciting to be a Lions fan. I know you're excited for the Mets and Buck Showalter and that rotation.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
something to look forward to. And like I said, Randy and Matt are gonna go in depth with that game and all across the league, and Tom Brady getting shut out and flipping tables, cursing out coaches. So
F12.
yeah. So
That's that
yeah.
extend Gettleman.
But no, those guys do an awesome job, and they'll be on
Yes,
it
sir.
Wednesday afternoon. Look out for them
Wednesday
in
afternoon.
Football Life. They're gonna break it all down. But yeah, uh, I think crowdless arenas for asymptomatic players will probably be the next step, because sitting out, I think that what it is now is you get 2 negative tests before you
Mm-hmm.
can play. That's how Westbrook got back in.
Yep.
Unvaccinated players, you need 5 consecutive days of negative tests. Figure as soon as Kyrie announces his return, he goes in the protocol. So you can't win. The way this variant is working, it seems like no matter what you do, this spreads faster
Mm-hmm.
than the previous 2, and it seems a good number of the players are asymptomatic. So I think they'll change their protocol for that. But
Absolutely.
yeah, hopefully we can contain this outbreak, because yeah, granted, I love these guys coming in and making an impact, but over an extended period of time, they will definitely get exposed.
For real.
You know,
It just I'm hoping. I'm hoping they just get it right. You know, this Silver's time to go, okay, we gotta get this right and we gotta get it right quick. Because one false move, that's your ass, Mr. Postman.
and if you're looking for guys who are, 'cause obviously this is affecting a lot of fantasy teams, guys sitting out, you're out for 2 weeks, and you guys
Mm-hmm.
to pick up, the Garrison Matthews, the David Duke Juniors, the Max Struss, Jordan Nora from Milwaukee,
Mm-hmm.
James Boonite, Charlotte really made a huge impact past couple games, 26, 25, uh, respectively. I know what I'm talking about. I got a fantasy championship, so look for those guys. Josh Christopher, if he's
Mm-hmm.
available. Uh, I know Jason Tate's not out there, but maybe David Nwaba, Kevin Martin Jr. Look out for a lot of these guys who can make an impact. Cam Thomas,
Yep.
Deuce McBride when he eventually comes back. So there's a lot of guys out there for the taking to fill roster spots, because Isaiah Thomas, I'm pretty sure is scooped up right about now.
Yeah, I think he is too.
Yeah, but uh, going across the league, actually, you know what I actually found interesting? Now, before
Mm-hmm.
Kyrie's return, there was talk of KP returning to New York. Kyrie for KP. Yeah. Now, I considered it for about 2.5 seconds and said no.
He's, I was about to say, I'm like, wait a minute, what is going on? But no, it's funny as hell when you said that. You know, the first thing like popped in my head, to be honest, like seriously, this is what popped in my head. It was. I said to him, like, what?
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, no,
No.
no, you don't go down that. Mm-mm. No.
I like KP as a player, but his injury history and availability, just granted, Kyrie's availability is sketchy as well, but at least I know he'll play when he's on the court.
Mm-hmm.
KP does have nice. He has size on the court. He can stretch
Mm-hmm.
the floor. He plays very good defense, but I think it's just a bad fit for this Brooklyn team, and it would give Luka the second ball handler he needs.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a move I wouldn't do.
Nah. Him and his bitch asses. Nope. Um, absolutely not. I won't wish him on my worst freaking enemy. But speaking of the Mavericks, though, it was kind of intertwined with the Pacers. It's kind of funny, you hear about these things about Rick Carlisle and him and Dennis Smith. I believe either you or I shared the story about Dennis Smith, or somebody did. I think it might have been EJ. Might have been, sorry.
Okay.
But somebody shared it. and it was how he wanted to get rid of Dennis Smith for I forgot the player, I'm sorry, but pretty much driving like a wedge in between Dennis Smith and Luca because they hit it off really well. They were good friends, and then Carlisle was doing certain things because he didn't want him on the squad, and that drove the rift with the team and stuff like that. And I think that ultimately led to his firing.
Mm.
And it's kind of funny that he goes to Indiana, and then all of a sudden their top two players want to get out of there. I really don't think that's a coincidence.
You know, history usually repeats itself,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember that Dallas story. So I think it Carlisle wanted to draft Donovan Mitchell.
There you go, right there. There you go.
He didn't get him. He got Dennis Smith Jr. And yeah, like you said, drove a wedge between Luca and Dennis Smith, and which I guess led to his firing. So Carlisle was there for over 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Had the pleasure of working with Dirk. You know, that's the case where a low maintenance star player kind of extended his stay for a bit, and then
Mm-hmm.
once he was gone, you kind of got to see the true calling of Carlisle and what his dealings were, and there's been some rumblings around the league about him being difficult to deal with, and I guess Luka was unfairly placed to blame as a coach killer. Turned
Mm-hmm.
out to be Carlisle the entire time, and like you say, as
Mm-hmm.
soon as you get to Indiana, hmm, Sabonis wants out, Miles
Mm-hmm.
Turner wants out,
Wait a minute.
mediocre, inconsistent play. I mean, this sounds like Dallas all over again. So,
Mm-hmm.
and we questioned that Carlisle hire from the beginning.
Oh, absolutely. It was weird. It was
Yeah,
definitely weird, and wasn't a good move apparently.
yeah, and it sucks with Dennis Smith Jr. because not only did it obviously drew a wedge between on the team, but you figure that mental state has to affect
Yeah.
your play, and he really struggled for a bit and never really found his footing in the league. He's playing a lot better up in Portland, but
Mm.
to get to have no traction to the start of your career, it's it's a tough go, and you get that reputation around the league as oh, yeah, this guy, what can he really
Mm-hmm.
do, and it's hard to find your footing, and
Mm-hmm.
luckily, I hope he finds his niche in the league. It may take a little
Agree.
bit longer than most, but
Mm-hmm.
like we mentioned earlier, 13, 14, 15 guy on the bench, they have talent. It's just a matter of opportunity. And now he's up in Poland. He's getting a little bit more opportunity.
Absolutely. Yeah, he just didn't have it with the next. I mean, he had his moments with Dallas. He had more moments in Dallas than he did in New York. He got to New York, and it just he fizzled out real quick. And Detroit, he had a few good games, but shout out to Dennis Smith though, got us Derrick Rose. We appreciate it. Um, but other than that, like you said, psyche is something, man. And when you lose that, you pretty much screwed.
Yeah, it's, I mean, a good 60, 70% of the game is mental. And,
Mm-hmm.
hell, after all sports. But um, hopefully he gets what he needs and really, really propels his career. Um, Yeah, a lot of hot teams in the league. Utah uh, running up. I think they're what in the third. They're third behind Golden State, Phoenix,
Mm-hmm.
Utah, Memphis. Now 10-2 in their last
Yep.
12 games, all without
Mm-hmm.
John Morant. Dylan Brooks and Kyle Anderson and Jaron Jackson Jr. Guys we said that Memphis needed to take a next step. They have done that. Going into the fourth place
Mm-hmm.
out west, really, really making some strides. And Desmond Bain, who I think may win Most Improved Player.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, that guy really liked him. We both liked him coming out of college, and the dude could shoot, tough defensively. Once again, he embodies that grit and grime that the Grizzlies continue to play, and it's continuing to work. So you can't don't. If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Mm-hmm.
But they have so much talent on that team, and they do everything without Ja. Now, if they start losing with Ja coming back, you're going, what's going on?
Trade him to the Knicks, right?
Damn right, man. Fix that mistake. No, I'm just kidding. Nah, nah, but yeah, that team is fun to watch though. They don't give up. Great defensively, not in with defense.
Mm-hmm.
Tough, and it's good to see, especially when a player like that goes down. You're like, oh boy, this guy's in trouble. But the coaching, unbelievable job, man. And shout out to I was about to call him Vancouver. Shout out to Memphis. Shout out to Memphis for keeping it together and making some history on the way there
Yeah,
at
Zach
the
Randolph's number
expense.
got retired over
Yes, I love
last
that.
weekend. So
hmm
yeah, Randolph and
Well
Tony
deserved.
Allen. Yeah.
Well deserved. Damn, Tony Allen, man. Like I was talking about before, you look at the top. The West is pretty top heavy, obviously, but look at the Clippers, 16-14, Nuggets, surprising 15-14. Lakers 16-15, Minnesota 15-15, Mavericks 14-15, Blazers 5 games under 5. So this West, man, it's gonna be both leagues. It's gonna be a dogfight to get into that fifth through whatever spot to get into the play-ins. It's gonna be a fun watch, man. I'm really hoping they don't shut it down and continues because I love parody, I love chaos, man. It's fun like that because you just never know what can happen.
Yeah, my Minnesota playoff prediction so far is looking pretty decent.
Mm-hmm,
Everyone is a 4 straight. Pat Bev putting his imprint on the team now, being a pest. They're among the league leaders in deflections.
mm-hmm,
Karl Anthony Towns has solidified his role as the dog on the team. Anthony
mm-hmm.
Edwards really proven to be a leader, and he hit 10 threes the other night. But I was high on Minnesota. They look pretty good, and I know Towns came out and said that he's the best shooting big man ever. But you know, I know there's some guy out who plays for Dallas who might have something to say about that. But is Towns that far off?
uh, I'll say percenter. I mean, you can say that. I mean, he is a center, so he does that kind of does hold weight. And we start talking about power forwards, he's not better than Dirk. It's I'll say he's up there. I mean, ever. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, yeah, you can point it out now. He hasn't been in the league for this long. I'm not one. I mean, it's not like he's setting records like Curry now. Like that. That's my obviously that's who you want to use now. But I mean, when he's said and done, who knows? Ever is he one of the best big man shooters that we've seen in history? Absolutely, absolutely. But ever right now, mm-mm. Not. I mean, Sabonis. Sabonis is a good shooter. Let's not forget about him.
Mm-hmm.
If you watch a lot of young kids, they forget about him. I mean, there's arenas. His son can play ball too. Once again, there's things that
Yeah.
you don't know. But yeah, no, no, no. Sorry, I love Cat. Tri-state area guy. Love Cat to death. Hell no, no, no.
Yeah, I think he's shooting 50 from the field, 43% from three.
Mm-hmm,
Now, there's been a lot of guys in history. I mean, maybe not with those numbers, but like you said, the longevity has a lot to do with it. He's very good now, but you look at guys back in the day, like your Sam Perkins, uh, you mentioned Sabonis. Met
Brad Miller.
Okor was another guy who could really shoot.
Mm-hmm,
Troy Murphy, Sheep Wallace.
mm-hmm,
You know, Kevin Love to some extent. He wasn't really a 3-point shooter until like later on in his career.
mm-hmm. Four was good. KG with his mid
Hmm.
range. I mean, maybe they're just looking at threes, but KG had a nasty mid range game, man. It was no joke. I mean, 3 point. You look at even Channing Frye; he was a really good three
Hmm.
point shooter as well. So, I mean, but Dirk, come on, come
Yeah.
on. You ain't messing with the guy. You ain't messing with the Jordan. All right, let's get that. Let's get that shit straight right the hell now. To town now, you got time there, buddy. Prove it when it's all said and done. I'm not calling anybody the greatest nothing right now if you ain't Steph Curry. Just saying.
Yeah. And a lot of it has to do with the evolution of the game because
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure if Ewing wanted to, he could have shot some threes. Hakeem, if he wanted to, could have done it. Kareem could have
Hmm.
done it. But
Oh man.
those guys we mentioned earlier with the NBA going in cycles, post game,
Hmm.
mid range, out to the three. Now we're moving back towards the mid range. So throughout history, these big guys just weren't asked to step out beyond the line and do that kind of thing because
Hmm.
it just wasn't the flow of the game. But
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure if they wanted to, it could have been done. Um, I don't know about Wilt or Shaq, but
Nah.
definitely, if Tim Duncan wanted to extend his range out there, he could have done it. Or David Robinson, because both
Hmm.
guys had some touch. But we'll look at it this year now. Eh, Brooke Lopez extended his range. Jonas Valanciunas. So it's definitely possible, but
Hmm.
Towns is not that far off. He
No.
just has history on his side.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, it's just to say right now he is nah. Mm-mm.
That's just wild. Um, Shout out to J.R. Smith, a man with a 4.0 GPA.
Mhm.
It's always good to see, man. Just um, someone with getting some success. It just help. School's hard, man. Even and
Facts.
at it for advanced age, the concentration and really goes to show that you can look past that blunder he made in the finals and look past all the, you know, shirtless JR, weed
Hennessy JR.
JR, Hennessy JR. You know, it's a smart guy, and I'm glad that that stigma didn't attach to him, and everybody can focus on his 4.0 GPA and his
Mm-hmm.
golf game and something positive, and it's good to see, man. Just I'm all for it.
Doing the whole golf thing, man, it's so awesome. Plus, he came into the league after high school,
Yeah,
so for him to do that at this age now, he made plenty of money in his career. Yeah, go back to school and do your thing, man. Get your education. It's really good to see that.
yeah, definitely a role model. Anyone who says, you know what, um, I want to go back to school, but I'm too
Mm,
old or this and that. It's no excuses now, man.
nope.
Uh, it's awesome to see, man, and much less uh, for an HBCU. So really to put them on the map as well, and
Mm-hmm.
it's shout out to Jr. Man.
It's freaking awesome.
Hell
Gotta love it. Cameron voice.
yeah. uh, um, I know. So Jalen Rose, I think, got he's getting divorced or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's damn messed up. Yeah, it's a shot.
yeah. Nah, man. Maybe after Christmas.
All right, my man.
'Cause, it's different. Now it'd be different shopping for your wife as it would be for your friend. You get the clearance rack.
You and shit. Hit the clearance rack. Man, you might as well be in the damn friend zone. You do some shit like that. God damn. That
But
man said the clearance rack.
no, it to witness a marriage ending and
Word.
public one at that. It's
That's the
just
worst, man.
yeah, it's sad to see, man.
Oof.
Much less when you work on the same show for all those years. You
Yeah,
don't
like
see each other's face, and
mm-hmm.
imagine that, just like dirty looks. You like you trifling.
You trifling, have some crusty ass bitch. God.
Yeah, it sucks, man.
Yeah, that, damn. Blame Stephen A.
Yeah. Anything goes wrong, blame Stephen A.
Blame Stephen A. Max
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
He
Listen,
left for a reason.
he found himself greener pastures.
Everybody found it. He went to LA. Hey, come on now. Nah, I like him with Jay Williams and no, it's not my Duke bias. Shut up. But that's the man though. Shut up, Leon. Don't. That was my guy. But
Right.
except for the whole accident thing. But yeah, him and Jay Will and oh my God, I'm drawing a blank. It's the third guy. Oh, Keyshawn.
Oh yeah, it is Keyshawn.
They do
Yeah,
in the morning. Yep. Yeah, they do some awesome things in the morning. I mean, Kellerman, he seems right at home.
yeah, it's good for him, man. Good for him.
Doesn't have to talk as much.
Yeah, yeah, it's good stuff, man. Uh,
Absolutely.
Mystics, Washington Mystics, they get the number one pick. Uh, I think it's Indiana Fever 2, Atlanta Dream 3.
Mm-hmm.
So draft lottery been revealed. They moved to now a 36 game season. So they added uh, 4 games to their regular season. No more single elimination playoffs. Good
Thank
for,
God.
yeah, thank God. Uh, ladies, evolving the game. Well, maybe we'll be in talk of expansion
Mm-hmm.
in a couple years. Maybe Oakland or Philly. Maybe talks of Toronto. So we'll look out on the horizon there.
Mm-hmm.
Sue Bird named female athlete of the year, I believe. So shout out to Sue Bird,
Well deserved.
another piece of hardware to her resume.
Mm-hmm.
And Steve Kerr named USA basketball head coach, taking over for Greg Popovich.
Mm-hmm.
USA basketball in good hands. I know Spoelstra could be one of the assistants. So you know,
I like that.
yeah, good had a good run in these past Olympics. I good watching Kerr. You see him with the Warriors. He has the
Mm-hmm.
respect of the players in the league. Wide open game. I think just continue to hopefully do the next step and repeat as gold medal champions.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Also, back to the ladies. Sue Bird gave like just astounding this compliment to Brianna Stewart, saying that she saved her career. Actually, that Brianna Stewart saved her career. That was pretty big for them to say, for her to say that. Also, Becky Hammond might be a shot. A little opening, coach opening there down in with the Liberty. And played for him. I wonder if she will take that step and take that job. She said her doors are open, so we'll see what happens there. That would be nice. I would be happy to see that because Becky Hammond is one of my favorite players. I would love
That
to
would
see
be
that.
nice. Yeah, that would be
Either
nice to
her or
see.
Spoon. Her or Spoon.
Yeah, and yeah, she's down in New Orleans, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's
that
the
would
thing.
be nice.
But it's hard to say. Like they're taking like the big step up. You're already in the NBA now. You're making strides as it is.
Mm-hmm.
Would you want to do that? But well, it'd be interesting.
See, and this is very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Now I know the NFL kind of struggles as far as minority coaches, and they
Mm-hmm.
instituted the Rooney Rule for interviewing a minority candidate. But we all know what that deal is. It's just window dressing.
Yep.
We've seen strides in the head coaching vacancies in the NBA as uh, a lot of positions were opened.
Uh-huh.
A lot of minorities were hired in the NBA. But if you look at female candidates now, they're entering front office positions and now assistant coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe that there will be a female head coach in the NBA? You know, like you had your Becky Hammonds, your Teresa Witherspoons, and many decorated WNBA coaches. Because you don't see them in college either. Uh,
No.
manning the men's college team.
Mm-mm.
Um, you know, Dawn Staley. I know she's
Great coach.
highly decorated as well. You think just
I
window dressing?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's men dominated sports. I think it goes into will they listen to him, but should give him a shot. You just never know, man. Hey, worked on Wildcats. No, no, but no, seriously, it's just you gotta give these ladies a chance. You never know what they can do, especially Becky Hammond. Like she pretty much does it. That's the thing. When Pop isn't there, she's done it before. The summer league team, she coaches these guys, these young men, these grown men. You got to get a shot. I'm hoping for it. I'll say it's a 50-50 chance. I'm gonna be a little optimistic. That is me being optimistic, going 50-50. But it's always an uphill battle, especially for women. It's always an uphill battle when it's dealing with stuff like this. And shit, it took them long enough to get a female refs, man. Like, come on now.
True. True.
So we'll see what happens, but I hope they get a shot though. They definitely deserve it.
So I guess it's obviously different money for being a
Mm-hmm.
head coach in the WNBA as opposed to NBA, just based on revenue and all of that. So
Mm-hmm.
I guess I don't know if it would be considered a step back, no
Mm-hmm.
pun intended.
Yeah.
But just to have that head coaching title on your resume, even
Uh-huh.
if it is with a WNBA team, if it would help land an
Mm-hmm.
NBA job in the future.
Yeah.
It also, I guess, a number of ex players in
Mm-hmm.
the league who want to be coaches, or that also, I guess, would have an impact on it. But I guess the money these guys are making, many of these ex players don't want to be coaches anyway.
Mm-hmm. That is true.
Yeah, we'll see how that holds up.
But yeah, it'll get there though. It'll definitely get there. But it just sucks that a lot of these women are being held back after being pretty much they're basketball lifers too. We talk about that on the men's side, but let's not forget that these women have played basketball their whole lives. They know the game. Some of them know the game better than men do. So give them a shot. And you can't. Hey, MLB, first female, I believe the first female GM for the Marlins, right?
Mm-hmm.
Come on, it's getting there. Yeah, you
Yeah.
got the owner. You got owners, right? Detroit, I believe. They the
Yeah.
owner in Detroit.
Yeah. She's
Or
well,
the
yeah. I
fuck,
mean,
but
her family was in there, so she
yeah,
took over when they died, and
yeah,
um, yeah, it
it can happen.
can't be any worse than what you know what's going on out in
Phoenix.
yeah, it can't be any worse.
Shit. Absolutely not. That's situated.
Yeah, absolutely.
Could be, could be Sterling.
Ooh,
Man,
ooh,
wow.
ooh.
Don't forget that one.
Uh, but yeah, yeah. You got anything else for our audience, man? Because
Nah, man, this was fun.
yeah,
This was good.
this is good.
I mean, we sorry that we couldn't really go over the games because we had no action. We had like 2 games. That's just come on.
Yeah.
But yeah, what can you do? But like I said, we will have if anything that does happen. We still plan on coming on. We got some fun episodes that we cooked up. You know, sure to start some arguments, but hey, we want to smoke. That's what we want. We want y'all to come in and argue, have fun, and you know, keep with it, man. 76 episodes in, and we're still churning.
Still churning. It's always good talking to you, brother, and I enjoyed your
Sure.
episode yesterday with Felipe. You can catch those
Thank you.
guys Sunday mornings over in Baseball Live, Total Bases podcast. Get your fantasy
Lord's Day.
baseball updates, mock drafts, prospects to look for. Those guys are good at it. They know their stuff. Gives you some analytics that you probably never heard of before.
I give it up to those guys, but I swear, I'm not. I would say I'm an old school guy, but the hard hit rates and it's pretty interesting to see. Listen, just hit the ball and find green. That's how I look at it. But I give it to them. It works. It makes sense. So I give it to them. Definitely shout out to Austin. Sean if he comes back. Felipe, doing his thing. Definitely appreciate you guys. Keep doing it, man.
Absolutely. Normally on Tuesday nights we're gonna go Wednesday afternoon. Matt and Randy, the Audible Football Life presents the Audible. Recap Week 15 and preview Week 16. Those guys are in the playoff mode. They're doing two-a-days and back-to-backs. Those guys are awesome. Yeah, I mean, the Giants are pretty much going to put Randy on the ledge. And right now, the Chicago Bears down 10. So that's going to be a fun episode for those guys. Baseball lockout. Henry and Vince just waiting for some action. Once they get some news, they'll be right back in the fold. But Christmas, New Year's, those guys deserve a break too. They've been working all year.
Mm-hmm.
And Workshoot Wrestling Podcast on hiatus for a bit, but you can catch their previous episodes on Spotify, Apple, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, and you can catch the visuals by subscribing to the Life Group Podcast Network on YouTube. It's another good episode, brother. Merry Christmas to you and your family.
Same to you. Thank you. Be safe out there. Dodge Omicron, Hudacron, Hudahada, whatever the hell.
Omarion. Yeah, I know.
Chris Brown, run it, get away from it. Matrix it, or whatever you got to do. Mask up, backs up, shoot up. No, wait, no, not that. That's pretty wrong. Wait a minute, I know you're in the Bronx show. Sorry. BX, I said Rockefeller.
Yeah, dude. Say no, kids. Say no.
Yeah, we taking it back to the 90s. Dare to say no.
Dare to say
we lived it. We stayed away from it. We advise you to do the same. Message for your ass.
Message. Good stuff, brother. And
yes, sir.
Merry Christmas to everyone listening. Enjoy. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year to your families. And we'll catch you on the flip side of the new year, 2022.
Yes,
hopefully we'll get some Christmas action. We'll get some NBA action, but we'll be right back here regardless. Merry Christmas to you and your families.
Merry New Year!
Until next time, everybody. Ball out.
Sir. Ball out.